The space. Dan Ives, the firm's global head of technology research, is behind the call. His research is behind the Dan Ives Wedbush AI Revolution ETF, which was launched last month. Dan, it's so great to have you here, especially ahead of earnings season. What do you expect from these big names? And I know there's one name you think everybody should be in. You can get in now. You're not too late.
Yeah, I mean, Courtney, I think this is going to be a very bullish tech earnings season. I think that the main thing is that we're seeing the use cases when it comes to AI exploding. And that's bullish for software and the hyperscalers, led by, of course, Redmond and Nadella, in terms of everything that Microsoft, I think that's one, not just $4 trillion. We think that could be a $5 trillion market cap along with NVIDIA in the next 18 months. But this is going to be, I think, really a prove it time for tech. I think they're not going to disappoint. And I think second half, tech stocks are up another 12 to 15%.
Hey, Dan, you know, the main names that you always cover that you've been bullish and you've been right on are really interesting. What's more interesting to me is the software coverage that you have. Tell me a little bit about the catch up, if you think we're going to see some of these names catch up to the leaders that we've seen in the software space.
Yeah, Grasso, great question. To me, that really is going to be a huge narrative in terms on the software trade and earnings season, because software has underperformed. I mean, if you think about it, but now it's not just Palantir, which obviously is our top one in terms of AI revolution, MongoDB, Snowflake. You know, I think IBM is seeing a massive renaissance of growth when it comes to what we're seeing on AI monetization. The use cases are exploding. And that's why I think software and even cybersecurity is going to be what I believe could be a significant outperformer across all of tech second half of the year.
So, Dan, I think Microsoft made an all-time high today, 3.8 trillion-ish, so another 1.2 to go. They're going to do about 340 billion dollars in revenue next year. What does that revenue number need to be to justify a $5 trillion company?
Yeah, it's a great question, Guy. To me, it's really about Azure revenue that's accelerating. I think we can now see acceleration 200, 300, 400 bips over the next, call it 6 to 12 months. But I think the main thing is, when you think about AI and the stack as a percent of overall revenue, it's small today. But I think as we go into next year, that could be 15, 20%. You think about the math on that, I think Street's underestimating numbers here by potentially 10, 15%. That's why, in my opinion, you know, $4 trillion is just a stop. I believe this is one. You know, 600 is our base case price target. Bull case could be $700 to get out the popcorn moment. I think as we go into earnings season for Nadella and Redmond.
Dan, it's Tim. People were throwing popcorn on the floor today at ASML. How do you explain the guide there? And again, they would be more emblematic of the infrastructure around tech and obviously the picks and shovels. And it was an awful guide.
Yeah, it was. And look, and obviously, Tim, I think this is going to be a little uneven as this all plays out. But I like when I look at ASML, like that's when I'd actually be a buyer on this type of, you know, sort of reaction. I think overall semis, in terms of everything that we see over the next, call it 3-6 months, is going to have a massive move higher. Because right now, demand to supply is still 10 to 1 when it comes to AI and it comes to chips from NVIDIA. That's all from our checks in Taiwan. And that's why we believe any of these sell-offs, they should be bought.
Dan, it's Karen. Thanks for being on. So you've said we're in the second inning of this AI revolution. We know that stocks peak before the end of the revolution. What inning do you think stocks peak in?
Yeah, look, I think stocks could peak, you know, maybe in 6th, 7th inning. But that means that we're going to basically have this run through, I think, not just the end of this year, but through the most part of next year, because you're still seeing so many enterprises. Only 4% enterprises have spent on AI in the U.S. So I think this is a CapEx explosion. It's a fourth industrial revolution. We've talked about it. The AI party, it was 9 p.m. It's now 10 p.m. and it goes to 4 a.m. And that's why I believe you buy these stocks. And I think 2Q is going to be, I think, the start of what is ultimately a golden age for tech stocks.